Nearly 3 weeks ago, 7 people were murdered in a Valhermoso Springs home. Now, after a manhunt that spanned from Alabama to Oregon, 2 men are arrested for that crime. Our Kanisha Dees has the latest on the investigation.
The Morgan County Sheriff says the 2 suspects were apprehended from Marion County, Oregon. However, one is from Hartselle, the other from Danville. Investigators say they were part of a group called the 7 Deadly Sins.
We believe 3 of the victims were members of this club, 3 of our victims that were murdered.
Sheriff Ron Puckett says suspects 20-year-old John Michael Legg from Danville and 23-year-old Frederick Rick Rogers from Hartselle knew all of the victims before the murders.
We were watching a house where we believe they were. Yesterday there was a traffic stop performed by the Sheriff's Department there in Marion County, and they were taken into custody without incident.
Authorities say at least one of the suspects had family in Oregon, and the suspects had no criminal record before the Valhermoso Springs murders. The victims shot and killed ranged in ages from 17 to 31. More than 25 agencies from the local, state, and federal level assisted. An FBI assistant special agent in charge says several tips from the public helped the investigation.
We need the public to step forward. It is those leads that generated the hard work of the agencies involved that help us get to where we're at today.
Sheriff Puckett says the suspects are in jail waiting extradition back to Alabama.
If they waive their extradition in Oregon, then we will have 10 days to get them. If they fight extradition, then it could be up to 90 days before we get them.
A message to the family of the victims.
Our investigators did not give up on your loved ones. These arrests will begin your journey to justice.
And the sheriff says this is an active, ongoing investigation. We'll have more information as it becomes available. Putting the Valley first, Kanisha Dees, WZDX News.